The cafe was buzzing with chatter that afternoon, businessmen in suits tapping away at laptops, couples laughing softly over lattes, and students bent over textbooks. Among them walked Emily, a 19-year-old girl with a faded backpack slung over her shoulder and worry written across her face. She had come to the cafe to rest, not to buy anything. She didn't even have enough money for a coffee. She simply needed a quiet corner to think about what her life had become. Her rent was overdue, her part-time job barely covered food, and she had no family to turn to. As she scanned the crowded room, her tired eyes landed on an empty chair at a table near the window. She hesitated only for a moment before slipping into the seat. What Emily didn't realize was that this was not just any table, it was reserved for the cafe's wealthiest regular, a man who visited every week to host quiet meetings. She sat nervously, pulling her worn jacket tighter, trying to look invisible. But fate has a way of pushing people into the spotlight when they least expect it. Moments later, a tall man in a sharp navy suit approached. His presence was commanding, the kind that made people sit straighter without realizing it. His name was Daniel Hart, a CEO known for building one of Canada's most successful tech companies. He stopped, surprised to see a young girl occupying his table. Emily froze, ready for the embarrassment of being asked to leave. She quickly gathered her bag, cheeks burning, whispering, "I'm sorry, I'll move." But Daniel's voice stopped her. Calm, yet firm, he said, "Stay." Emily blinked in shock. Why would a man like him want her to stay? She stammered, I don't belong here." Daniel gave her a long, searching look. He noticed the torn straps of her backpack, the way her hands trembled slightly, the exhaustion in her eyes. Instead of dismissing her, he sat down across from her. "Sometimes," he said softly, "you end up at the wrong table for the right reasons." Emily didn't know what to say. She hadn't spoken to anyone about her struggles. But something in his tone, something genuine, made her voice spill the truth. She told him about working double shifts, about skipping meals to make rent, about how college was just a dream she could no longer afford. Her words cracked halfway through, and she quickly wiped her eyes, embarrassed. Daniel listened without interrupting. For a man who often dealt with million-dollar decisions, it was unusual for him to sit so still, so attentive. When she finally stopped, he leaned forward and said, "Do you know why I always sit at this table?" Emily shook her head. He smiled faintly. "Because when I was your age, I once sat here the same way you are now, tired, broke, and hopeless. Someone gave me a chance I didn't think I deserved. And now, I try to do the same for others." Emily's heart pounded. Was this real, or was life just playing with her again? Daniel reached into his bag and slid a card across the table. "Come by my office tomorrow," he said. "I think I have something for you." That night, Emily hardly slept. Part of her told her not to hope too much, she had been disappointed too many times before. But another part, a small spark deep in her chest, told her maybe, just maybe, this was the moment her life could change. The next day, with shaking hands, she arrived at his office building. She expected security to laugh at her, but instead, they greeted her by name. Daniel met her in the lobby himself, something he rarely did for anyone. He walked her through the office, showing her not the luxury, but the people, the team that felt more like a family than workers. Finally, he offered her a position, not out of pity, but because he believed in giving people with heart and determination a chance to grow. Tears filled Emily's eyes. She couldn't find the words to thank him. Daniel simply said, "One day, when you're in a position to help someone else, remember this table." Years later, Emily would sit at that same cafe, now dressed in confidence instead of worn clothes. She'd pay for strangers, coffees, offer students advice, and sometimes, she'd watch a tired young person slip into that seat by the window. And whenever they tried to leave in embarrassment, she'd gently smile and say the same words that had once changed her life, "Stay." Because sometimes, the wrong table can lead you to the right destiny. And sometimes, kindness from a stranger can rewrite your story. Would you like me to also make this into a YouTube narration script style with pauses and emotional emphasis, so it flows naturally for a 4-minute video?